Hello everybody and welcome to AP Stats. So today we are going to talk about what is statistics. More accurately, we want to say what are statistics, because statistics, even though it is a singular course, it covers a variety of information. So what are or is statistics? It is a way of reasoning, right? A collection of tools. So let me write that down here. It is a way of reasoning. And most importantly, statistics uses data. What is data? Or, once again, we want to say, what are data? Well, data is basically values. But there is more information in what data really is. Data, as we know right now in the information age, it can be pretty much anything, really. Like, for example, as you know, the big tech companies log hundreds and thousands of pages on just one person on your data. You may not know this. So, for example, if you like TikTok, TikTok will save data on what time you like to log on to TikTok, how many hours you spend per video, how many minutes do you toggle over a certain subject area, and it collects the mounds and mounds of data on you, and then it goes to analyze that data, which comes to our next category, steps of statistics. The steps of statistics are think, show, and tell. Let's write that down. Think, show, and tell. So thinking is first thinking about what data you want to collect, thinking about what is it that we want to find out, what information do we want to garner. Showing is basically then taking that next step to collecting the data, but not just collecting the data, but collecting the data in a way where we can then represent it in a table so that we can understand it. And then finally, tell. Telling is just an interpreting or analyzing the data that we have collected in a meaningful way, meaning that if you collected a whole bunch of data on something but you have no idea what that means, it doesn't help us, it doesn't help you. So let's look at this first chart here, these first data tables here. Notice the first table on top. The information there doesn't really make sense. Notice the first column that I circle here in red. Chris, Orange County, Ohio. Random number, what does that mean? And the second, even the rows here, let's look at the rows. Let's look at the top row with Chris. All this makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So it doesn't just help to put it all in a table. We have to put it in a context, which makes sense. So now let's look at the second table. Notice the second table is organized. We know that the information there, it's about purchase order, name, ship to state and country, price, area code, previous CD purchase, gift, ASN, and artist. This brings us to our next part, is what to consider. So now the things we need to consider when we are collecting data and interpreting data are the 5 W's. So the 5 W's, let's get this here, 5 of who, what, where, when, and why. And sometimes we might even do a how. Okay, so let's look at the blue table, and let's first answer our question, who. Who in this case is mostly, at least most of the cases, is always going to be found in the leftmost row. So in this case, the who, basically what information is this data table is really telling you. What is the most important information in this information? Who is this information is about? And in this case, it is the purchase order here. So our who is our purchase order. Our what is the ASIN, or we would like to call it the identifier. An identifier is just a set of numbers. It has no actual value, but the set of numbers is like, it's like a identification number, which allows a company to either categorize it anonymously, or it allows, for example, the school gives you a student ID. So that way, if they ever put you in a data graph, you are just identified as your student ID and not your actual name. That way, your identity is protected when they pull up the data table. So here, the what is the ASIN once again, and it is labeled as an identifier. The where in this case would be where the purchase item is being shipped to, which is Ohio, Illinois, Massachusetts, Canada, mostly North America. Next, our when. Well, I don't see a date here, so we don't have that information. Not all data tables will have all the information, so that one we'll skip. Why? Why would a company want to have this data table? Well, the why is the most important. This data table could be from, let's say, Amazon, and Amazon wants to keep track of all of your purchases because it wants to keep an inventory of what you have purchased, what they need to buy, and then maybe what is popular, who is buying what in what area. So the why here is vast. There are many questions that could be answered with this one simple data table. Then finally, how? Well, how is most likely through whenever there's a purchase, they just save this data. All right, moving